All right. Amongst all of our Lawrence attempts, we have now we're running out of blood vials, right? So we need blood vials. We're trying to beat Lawrence at level 19 with base stats for the Holy Moonlight Sword. So we got to take a little bit of an excursion to get some blood echoes. So we're gonna head into E's Chalice Dungeon. We haven't been here, so this is like new and it's good. We're gonna do this because we haven't been in an E's Chalice Dungeon yet. We got this chalice from Abritus, and it's full of aliens and kin, and it's a good place to get a triangle gem. It's the best place to get a triangle gem, actually. If you can get a cursed Ease Chalice, get a cursed triangle gem. What do we got over here? Also, check out the vegetation, the flora. Is this flora or fauna? I always forget. But anyway, there it is. Is that tomb mold, right? Tomb mold 5. Mold that grows from the rotten flesh and blood inside the old labyrinth matures to bear giant spores. Chat. What if the labyrinth is an old one? Huh? And they just built their house inside of an old one. You know what I mean? They all just were like, F it. We just live in one now. So there's these portals in the Ease Chalice dungeons where messengers will grab you and drop you off. And they always put you in like extremely dangerous situations, so it's best to avoid them if you can. So in that instance, they would have dropped me off with all those rats. Now it's lit up now that I've accidentally stepped in it, but those candles were there before I stepped in the trap. But they light up once you're in it. And then like brain suckers everywhere. And it's fun, like, fighting the brain suckers is kind of fun, but, like, at the same time, they're also a boss in these dungeons. And it's kind of like, that's overkill, let me think. Like, I know that sometimes Watchers guard a lever, and then the Watchers are also the boss. But the difference is that when the Watchers guard the lever, there's only one of them. And then when they're the boss, there's 3 of them. Like, so, it's much different, I think. So, what kind of boss are we talking about here? Oh, a brain sucker. I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I'm not a big fan of the brain sucker boss. It's weak to thrust. It can be parried. It can be interrupted, but like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, don't mess it up. Sometimes he gets hyper armor when he's casting his spell. So like, I don't know that it's worth it to try. I'm sure there's some, like, this will always interrupt him kind of stuff out there. Oh! That's what, but my man gets perseverance. I did that on purpose, chat, just so you guys could see what I was talking about. I could have avoided that if I wanted to, but I thought it was important. I wanted to show you what it looked like when his big tentacle came out. You know what I'm saying? I did that for you, chat. That was all for you. He dropped us a tempering triangle and a chunk. So this is a good place to farm bloodstone chunks because the bosses can drop them for you. Sometimes people will wear eye runes into chalice dungeons. If you're in a cursed dungeon, it's kind of pointless. Physical attack up 9%, add arcane 32.6. It's kind of pointless to wear an eye rune in a cursed dungeon because cursed dungeons have an item discovery modifier already on them. Like that's part of the reason that you would do them. However, if you do wear an eye rune, the bosses are more likely to drop you. They're not more likely to drop you a better gem. They're always going to drop the same gem because a gem is guaranteed. Whether or not you get a good one has nothing to do with eye runes. But they are more likely to drop bloodstone chunks and bloodstone if you're wearing that eye rune. So that's something to keep in mind. Are there any Chalice Dungeon bosses that are worse than the Royal Rat Vanguard? Look at that. Look how many blood vials we just got off one layer. See, you don't have to farm. You don't have to farm for blood vials. You can just, you know what I mean? Just buy them. Just buy them. Yeah. Thumerian Descendant is worse than the Rat Vanguard. The Rat Vanguard is bad, but it's at least inoffensive. Thumerian Descendant is a garbage house. Alright, who's boss number 2 in the Chalice Dungeon? Honestly, I forget. It's been so long. Oh, Celestial Emissary. So we can use pokes, and it'll stagger him. I think his most dangerous attack is that. Also, his stomp attack is pretty brutal. That one. Everything else pretty chill. Once he busts out the tentacles, he's got to call beyond. He's a bit like fighting an undead giant. Your biggest problem is like accidentally quick-stepping and quick-stepping into an attack instead of away from it. Because that'll one-shot you because of the counter damage. I think if you've got bolt paper and thrust attack, you can, you know what I mean? Like you can stack those up. Jesus Christ. Missing this dude feels terrible. But he's basically just like the arcane version, the kin version of the undead giant. Like, the only thing dangerous about him is, like, you accidentally dashing and getting roll caught, and then he whomps you. I think this is the final layer, and I think this is gonna take us to Abritus. I think. Can you fight? Is there an amygdala in Chalice Dungeons, chat? Or am I losing my mind? More blood vials. No, only in Lauren. Okay. Are the Celestial Emissaries children? Yeah. Yes. The orphanage is... The orphanage, shadowed by the Grand Cathedral, was a place of scholarship and experimentation, where young orphans became potent, unseen thinkers for the Healing Church. The choir that would later split the Healing Church was a creation of the orphanage. So, yeah, they're literally orphans. You know, a lot of people's parents die in this world, and so they take all the orphans and they turn them into they turn them into celestial emissaries for communion. Communion is like, it's easy to think of communion like in the Western religious world as like the Eucharist and stuff like that, but it literally just means like communication, but like especially communication through like prayer or meditation. Hey, we found bath messengers. Alright, so some people have asked me when I do these runs, why don't I just like get the Chalice dungeon and find the weapon that I want to use? And if you're doing like a regular run, that's absolutely fine. You can just Google search for a false depth dungeon that has the weapon you want, and you can just run in there and grab it right off the bat. But you can't do that with DLC weapons. You have to purchase the DLC weapons from the Bath Messengers, and they only sell weapons that you've picked up, right? So like they're not gonna drop you like they're not gonna give you like a weapon you haven't picked up yet. But once you get the weapon, you can buy the Uncanny or the Lost variant from the DLC Messengers. And all it does is change the slots on the Blood Gemstones. So, like, for the Moonlight, for the Holy Moonlight Sword, it's radial, triangle, radial. For the Uncanny, it's radial, waning, radial. And for the Lost, it's radial, triangle, waning. And like with the Holy Moonlight Sword, like you can kind of do whatever you want, you know what I mean? But a lot of this is sort of like, did you get a gem that was out of shape but is really, really good? And if so, maybe you buy an Uncanny or a Lost variant of a weapon, and then now it's not so like useless. You don't have a useless blood gem that's like a good useless blood gem, because that sucks. I think everything's actually more expensive here. So like, don't buy your blood vials here. They're very expensive here. I think. Hey, what's up, Ecto? How you been? Yeah.
We're broken up.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we aren't.
Yes, we are.
No, we aren't.
Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
We're gonna get you a new better Daddy Bear. That's right.
You better not.
This is your fault. Tell him we're broken up, Bear. We need a ride. I can't drive yet.
It's funny you mentioned that, XY. Somebody did. Somebody absolutely did leave the cap off the toothpaste, but I don't know if it was me or her. I just put the cap back on just in case it was me. I don't think it was me, but, like, I'm not gonna fucking risk it. Alright. So, same thing with the brightest this time. She can always open up with her... She can open up with her charge. We don't like that. Beast Blood Pellets, R2 pokes. We can stay right here. Poke her head if you get a chance. Ooh! I hate to run away from her, but she kind of like put me in a situation there. Oh, you gotta be careful about locking onto her head. GG. You gotta be careful about locking onto her head, because that'll happen. She like swings her head around in a big ass circle, and the lock on just goes absolutely fucking crazy, and you have no idea what's happening. You can lock onto her head, you can lock onto her torso. If you're hanging out near her torso, trying to like beat up on that, that's the way to go. But like otherwise, you know, if you want to aim for the head, aim for the head. But if you get it mixed up and you're accidentally locked onto one when you think you're locked onto the other, it's nothing but problems. Nothing but problems and trouble. Also, I need these blood echoes. Maybe I should, she's gonna take a long time to beat because she's got so much HP. Maybe it would be wise to take my blood echoes and go home. Shit. Alright, here we go. I hear you! It's very impressive that you taught the dog to bark quietly.
To go woof.
Yeah, to go.
At 11, he's 11 years old.
He's a good boy.
No, I don't want to hear that. I was like a woof woof. No. A woof.
Alright, let's spin these blood echoes so we don't die and lose them and feel terrible. Boom. Right, just like that, chat. Just like that. We are all the way back to 580 blood vials. Love it. Love it. Ah, didn't get the head. If you accidentally end up in her butt cheeks like that, get out. Not a good place to be. Are you laughing at my... It's true. Are you fucking kidding me? Goddamn, lock on. Killed by lock on.